Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is officially summer and I can no longer put my very long thick hair down. Do I look strange with my hair up in a bun? I don't know. I always put it up to get out of my way, but I feel like if I'm trying to dress up, I don't know. Do I look okay? Okay. So I thought I would switch gears a little bit and talk about YouTube a little more, like behind the scenes, what it's like to actually be a creator on YouTube and not so much as a viewer. I actually got the idea of this video from Hannah Witton on her More Hannah channel. I thought it was a really cool idea. Tags were a big deal back in the day, right? This was kind of sitting with me as I was watching it. I was just like, I'm really feeling this right now. It's very, very relatable to me. It's always relatable when you're on YouTube because that's just what it is, but something about it like right now at this specific time where I'm kind of like in limbo in regards to where I am on YouTube. Like, do I want to keep doing YouTube? I just thought it was a good time to make this type of video. If you're new, hi, hello, I'm Rikki. I talk about disability, accessibility, awareness a lot, and hopefully more. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell before you exit in this video. Now, let's get started. Do you spend time researching algorithms and what they want? And does it affect what you make? I research algorithms in the sense that I watch business YouTubers or YouTubers like Roberto Blake and Nick Nimmin. They talk about the algorithm a lot. I don't understand the algorithm no matter what I do. I've been doing this since 2010. The first couple of years I was only doing makeup. Now I'm doing a genre that, to be quite blunt, nobody really cares about. I mean, a lot of people care about deaf awareness, disability, accessibility, you know. It's not like nobody cares about it. Obviously, if nobody did, I wouldn't have the audience that I do have. But what I mean is it's not a very popular genre. It just isn't, unless there's something really special about you. Like a few YouTubers have skyrocketed, but generally it's very hard to really break into YouTube. A couple years ago it was super popular and that's when my channel was doing really well, and now it just seems to have dwindled for a lot of disabled creators. There are things like Google Trends where occasionally I will type in a keyword or something and see what's coming up, but at least from what I see, I might be doing it wrong. There's just not really a whole lot of things. And if I do happen to make a video that I think is going to be popular based on Google Trends, it's a lot of the time it doesn't really do well, so it's kind of difficult. But I'm also trying to rely on what my YouTube analytics say and what commenters say. So if I'm like, hey, what do you want to see? I'll try to do something that y'all want me to talk about. And you know, YouTube analytics are really good to look at, very important to look at. They'll tell you what videos are doing well, what aren't, what makes people subscribe, and what makes you lose YouTube videos. Although a lot of the times if you get a lot of subscriber loss, sometimes if you know, have a little bit of a standstill and then all of a sudden you start to boost up, and then all of a sudden you're back in YouTube subscription boxes because YouTube doesn't send out my or a lot of other people's videos to subscription boxes anymore. So then YouTube subscriptions start to update with your videos all of a sudden, and then people are like, wait, who's this? And then they just realize, oh wait, I haven't seen her in forever. You know, we'll just get her off the subscription box. But yeah, the YouTube analytics are really important. I've been trying to keep on learning about the algorithm and whatnot, but I gotta tell you, it's very confusing for me. There's just something my brain cannot wrap my head around. My brain cannot wrap, what's that phrase? I don't know. What would you make if there were no restraints? So Hannah was right on the money with this, but a lot of the restraints that we may have are money and time, resources. I don't make a lot of money, 5 paychecks altogether-ish, 5-ish paychecks depending, about $1,000 a month, sometimes before and sometimes after taxes. Regardless of before or after, it's not a lot of money, as you can tell. Every once in a while, you know, I'll get hit with a sponsorship. I'll get lucky with Twitch or channel membership. So, but on average, that's about the amount of money that I make regularly. So it's very difficult to do everything that you would want to do that costs money, and creating costs money. If you're doing this as your career, or at least part of your career, is going to cost money. And resources, like I'm doing all this from my bedroom, my desk is over here, my bed is over here. You know, an actual office space, whether it's an actual room in an apartment or a house, or an actual office space, that costs money. Time, really, I kind of have all the time in the world, kind of. But then there's also things like, you know, mental illness or disabilities, chronic pain and fatigue know how to hit me at the worst times. I have pretty much been pigeonholed into the deaf creator. You could say that's my fault in ways, because first I started off as a makeup vlogger, and well, you're a makeup vlogger, like being pigeonholed is whatever. But then starting to switch genres, I gradually went away from makeup, and then I started talking about accessibility, but then I was also talking about like random stuff, right? And me being a variety channel, if you will, really worked for me back then, but then it started to work for me less. And then I just kind of ended up getting pigeonholed into deaf creator, disability creator, accessibility creator. You can really wrap all that up into one. And then every time I would try to branch out, it just wouldn't do well. So like if I want to talk about LGBT stuff, bisexuality stuff, some videos would do well, but on average it just wouldn't. And you know, like I would ask people like, hey, is this something that you would be interested in seeing? And a lot of people would say yeah, or a lot of people would say, you do whatever and we'll watch it. That's not actually the case, if we're gonna be honest. Like, and I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers will agree. You know, a lot of people say this and that, but then when it comes to actually launching the content, it doesn't come back in numbers. And probably may also be because of YouTube not sending videos out to subscription boxes, which is so annoying. Right now, I feel like I almost kind of just want to say like, F it, and just do whatever it is I want to do, regardless of how it's going to come out. Like Cat Black last year started doing the complete rebrand on her channel, where she was in the beginning a lot of social justice, you know, issues, and then she wanted to get away from that, because doing that on a constant basis can get so tiring. And then she just started to like switch things up. And when she did, it went so bad for her. Like, and this is just being honest. This is not me like trying to say bad things, because I love her content and I was watching this stuff. But the channel, the audience that she was having wasn't really following along with it, and the numbers started to drop. I don't remember how views were. I remember when she did a series, the views were not great, but her subscriber count was dropping. It was going down and down and down. But then she kept on going with it regardless, and now she's doing so damn well. Her content is still just as amazing as ever, if not more so, because she's clearly very happy with what she's doing. And you know, you kind of just have to prioritize your happiness over whatever, I guess. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I would love to just sit and talk about whatever. So like I wouldn't, that doesn't mean I would stop talking about things that are going on right now, like ableism and other discrimination, lack of accessibility. Also talking about child abuse awareness. That's also something very important to me, especially other things that I want to talk about regarding that. It's not all that I want to do, and I definitely just don't want to keep getting pigeonholed into deaf creator, because what more can you talk about besides that? I feel I've been doing this for so long, like how much more can I talk about that? Although some videos could afford to be refilmed and made a little bit better with a different background and everything. So if you do happen to see any repeats, videos every few years need to have a little bit of an update, you know, get a little bit more modern. So don't fret on that. But if I could, I would love to be like out and about. I would love to do collaborations with other YouTubers, like other deaf YouTubers and other disabled YouTubers. If I really wanted to get like a push on the bisexuality content, I would love to do collabs with other bisexuality. I would love to do collabs with other bisexual YouTubers, LGBT, queer YouTubers in general, or anybody really, you know. But time and money, coronavirus is also making that be a little bit more difficult. But if we pretended that didn't exist for 2 seconds, stop pretending that it doesn't exist as a whole. But if we just shut that aside, that is definitely a restraint, just not being able to go out, because I don't have the resources all the time to do that. If you were told you couldn't upload for 6 months but it would not affect your ways or views, what would you do instead? I would focus on my Twitch channel a lot more. You know, I've been streaming for almost 3 years and my average view count is about 8 viewers still. So that's not good. When you want to grow, like, that's horrible. Yeah, I would just try to do Twitch more. And I mean, I do Twitch a lot already. It's just, I guess it's hard to really do a lot of focus on it because even if I'm working on Twitch more than I am on YouTube, there's still like, my brain's not really connecting with Twitch and the amount of effort that I could put into it, like making a schedule, making the stream look really nice, and also like my channel page itself, and trying to come up with like themed days or something, just trying to make it a little more consistent, because right now it's like just playing Fortnite most of the time, and also like it's so sporadic. Like, I've seen a lot of people do really good work with being consistent with a schedule and just having like it look really nice and enticing and getting people over, and mine's not that. Like, I've been trying to get my YouTube audience to also merge into my Twitch audience, and it's just not working. It hasn't worked in 3 years, so obviously I would need to take that time to focus on Twitch and building an audience from Twitch itself. And you know, I could still merge together all the platforms in some sort of way. You're not gonna get the same audience like from all of your platforms. Does that make sense? You just gotta work on creating an audience from that platform. So, you know, a lot of viewers don't follow on both YouTube or Instagram, but both Twitter and Instagram, or Facebook and YouTube, you know? So there's that. Also, I would try to advance some skills. Like, I'm terrible at graphic design, to be honest, and I would be able to save a lot of money if I could just do it myself. So if I could just find like accessible online classes that are also affordable, so like Skillshare or something. Skillshare doesn't seem to be very accessible from what I know so far, what I've seen so far. And also business classes in general, because I'm also trying to focus on getting more public speaking gigs, also consulting gigs. I've had a few this year, but there could be more. So I've actually started that a little bit, trying to create some flyers and stuff like that to put around locally, get a bit of a local clientele, things like that. And if I could just learn a little bit more about business, that would be great, because that's really important. Just overall, just, you know, need more knowledge in here, because guesswork it's not working after all this time, right? What's the best thing the algorithm has suggested to you, and what's the best thing you've discovered through human suggestion? Oh goodness, what has the algorithm given to me recently? I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube now, and if I do watch a lot of YouTube, it's usually the same people over and over. So I'm pretty sure like the algorithm has given me Samantha Ravindal, Ready to Glare. I was watching a little bit of Chikara Transformations for a little bit of time there. Roberta Blake is obviously one of them. So Roberta Blake and Nick Nimmons were great because they would help me with their videos a little bit, try to figure out how to make my videos better and how to just like get my brain working a little bit better. Amy Landino, but you know, I was able to find some good business YouTube related content who's also Caption, so that's been pretty good, so thanks. But through human suggestion, I can't really figure that out right now, if I'm gonna be honest with you. My brain's all fuzzy and foggy, like I can't remember who came through what. What's a better way the algorithm could work? I just want YouTube to send out videos to subscription boxes, and you know, I keep saying click on that notification bell to get your notifications when I upload, but I and a lot of other creators are finding that, and also because viewers are telling us they don't send them out. So I just want that to happen. But Hannah made a good point in her video where like if you're watching something for pure joy, for entertainment, for educational purposes, you want that separate from like things that you're watching because you're like either hate watching or you're just like completely baffled by things. And there are some creators that just because I talked about them in a video, YouTube keeps wanting to recommend them to me as if I actually want to watch them, and that's not the case. So I wish YouTube would understand, because the SEO is telling you that I don't really want to watch you or anything. Well, take from that, learn from that, and please don't give me the channel. But even though I would say like not interested or don't recommend this channel, the algorithm still wants to tell me, hey, maybe you will like this channel. And no, I will not, because I've told you. We keep telling you, stop it. How can people support your work outside of the algorithm? Normally I say this, or I try to remember to say this at the beginning of every video, but I didn't because of this question. So 2 major platforms, if you will, that I have are Patreon and YouTube, the YouTube channel membership. The YouTube channel membership is right down below. If you look at the bottom of this video, there's a little join button, and there's 3 different perks, or 3 different tiers, $2, $5, and $10. $10 was made because 2 viewers were like, make it so I can do it. And I'm like, okay. Don't bite my head off, I will. Thank you. But yeah, so those come with their own perks. And Patreon is kind of the same thing, but Patreon was made first. Patreon has a couple more perks on it because I've had that for years. But yeah, those things are fantastic. The YouTube channel membership helps with AdSense because it all gets rolled in all together. So it does help me make that $100 threshold that you're supposed to get every month in order to get a paycheck from Google. And Patreon is, you're gonna get it no matter what, no matter how much that you make on that particular month. If you don't feel like going to a completely separate website, YouTube channel membership is fantastic, and also that's fairly new, so I get really excited when I see other people just like popping up on there, new people. I also have a merch store with Teespring. Occasionally limited edition designs will pop up on Bonfire, but Teespring is like 24/7. Everything is at your disposal. Everything is there for you whenever you need it, want it, can afford it, whatever. And there's also various products, whereas Bonfire is just shirts, although they came out with some new stuff. I primarily just do shirts. On Teespring there's mugs, apparel, pins, stickers, things like that, and multiple designs. So that's a great way to do that. And I also just use that as tax money, so it just goes into my tax account. I also have what is like a tip jar, and it's really part of my Twitch. It's my Streamlabs tip jar thing, and I just put that all together. But I usually always put it down in a pinned comment below, so that way it's just always there if you wanna. If you were ever interested in supporting my work or whatever, those are your options. No obligation whatsoever. That's just me throwing it out there. Because I found out a lot of people don't even know that I have a Patreon. And last question, do you support other creators' work? And if so, who? When I was doing a little bit better financially a couple years ago, I was supporting a few people on Patreon. I remember I was supporting, she's not a YouTuber, but Melissa Fabello, I was supporting her on Patreon. I supported Cat Black for a few months. On Twitch, I was subbed to 1 or 2 people, and now I mostly rely on gift subs for them. So I kind of am supporting them, but they were gifts, so I guess it still counts because somebody paid for it and it's supporting that creator. And I do have some merch from people, so people who created t-shirts, like Andrea LaSalle created t-shirts, I have some of those. Nathan Zed, I used to have a t-shirt from him, but it doesn't fit anymore, so I kind of gave it away. But yeah, if a creator I really enjoy has merch, you know, I bought a few from time to time. Once I would be able to get back into a good financial spot, or somewhat good financial spot, at least like in the same level that I was a couple years ago, I would like to be a part of Patreons again, or YouTube channel memberships, just depending on what they use, or, you know, more Twitch subs. Because boy, do I really like using emotes on Twitch. I love using Twitch emotes on chats, like, they're amazing. Those are the questions. I hope you found that insightful, learned a little bit about being a creator behind the scenes. Not all experiences are the same, obviously, and one's experience is not always the same, like, throughout. We all have our good moments, our bad moments, whether it's because, like, mental health being screwy with us, or just something just isn't working for us right now. But what can you do? You figure out what's not working, you learn some new things, and you rearrange, or you just push on through it. I'll have a link to Hannah's video down below, and a couple of other YouTubers that I mentioned in case you're interested in seeing any of those. If you would like to help out this video, be sure to share it on Twitter or on Facebook, etc, etc. All engagement, like likes and comments, really help out the video and channel growth. If you would like to help translate this video, I will have a translation link in down below. Always helps out. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I will see you later. Bye.